Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
What a great time to be alive. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I'm Jay Crawford. Over the next 30 minutes, plenty of Browns, plenty of Guardians. We're going to recap all of the drama of last night's Game 4 win. Bull.
Jay, let me tell you something. I'm Adam the Bull, and besides that, who's going to pitch for the Guardians in Game 5? Will it be Matthew Boyd, or could it be a guy who hasn't pitched at all in this series? We'll get to that in a little bit. G
Bush here. We'll talk to Sean King. He's breaking it down about the Browns and what's going on with Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to just let you know, it ain't pretty. Earl.
I'm Earl the Pearl, a 36-year-old Browns fan, and I think they finally broken me. We'll talk about that later. Jay?
That sounds like a confessional.
Yeah.
It sounds like what when you go in for treatment, you have to say, my name is, and I am hooked on.
Or an episode of, like, remember The Real World back in the day?
Yes.
You know, you'd be in the confessionals there. That's Earl. Yeah.
So he's finally saying the words out loud. That's the first step to recovery.
Yes.
Is admitting you have a problem.
I'm a Browns fan.
Bro,
Hi, Jay.
I've been there 30 times in my adult life. It's like I'm put into a dark black hole, and I always crawl out. We can't quit them because we love them.
Weird story. I tried out for the Real World. I said it.
Did you really?
In college. And then realized, how dumb was that? You have to be gone for 6 months. You play football.
That's not going to work out.
Would have been fun, though.
It would have been fun.
All right, let's start with the Guardians. And before we get to Game 5, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made ahead of Game 5. We've got to recap Game 4. I thought that it couldn't have worked out any better, not just because it was a win, but I thought Stephen Vogt was probably questioning some of his decision-making after some questionable moves for Game 3. I thought he would look nervous, but he rose to the occasion and I thought pulled all the right levers. I talked about this after he didn't squeeze bunt in an earlier situation in the series where I thought it begged for it, and he pulled the trigger on this yesterday. I think what he did was the calculus of run value versus outs. You have 27 outs in a game, and typically you have to figure out how hard are runs going to be to come by. And you have to do that calculus on the fly while the game is playing out. And he made the decision. This is a high-risk decision, but extremely high reward. He asked his guy, can you get a squeeze bunt down? Man, did David Fry deliver. It was a wonderful slide by Quan. Risky play, one that a lot of managers would not have had the cojones to make, but he made it. It worked out, and I think that's a great growing step for Stephen Vogt in playoff baseball.
You know, for me, we talked about it before. We talked about pitching all along. Adam the Bull, I've been concerned about the sticks. And you take a look at that game, Quan looks like he's back to Quan. He's getting on base. He's swinging at good pitches. And then it was a big relief for everybody in Cleveland when Jose Ramirez hits the home run. And now you're like, okay, our best players are playing at their best. Stephen Vogt, I don't know if he's second-guessing himself, but we sure as heck were from the first few games. So you're able to get those runs. You're able to win a game on the road. And now you set yourself up for an opportunity, Bull, of getting a chance to play an elimination game at home, in your ballpark, and now your best players are playing.
That's right. And we'll talk about the pitching matchup or what we think it'll be in Game 5 in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you talk about maybe the manager not being confident in himself. Well, I think a lot of the players weren't either. They had gone 20 consecutive innings without scoring, and Lane Thomas coming through after it looked like the Guardians might blow that opportunity in the first inning. They had first and second, nobody out, then 2 consecutive outs, and then Lane Thomas coming through. You see there, we got 2 hits yesterday, knocks in that run, and I think the whole team took a collective sigh of relief. Then Ramirez hits the home run, so now your best player hits the home run.
Could you guys see the monkey just disappear off the
Yes. His previous at-bat, it was like the most stressed I felt like I'd ever seen him in that at-bat. And we know his history. He's had like 3 really good playoff series and then 5 just abysmal playoff series in his career. And overall, he's not been a great postseason player. But hitting that home run, it was his first hit since his first at-bat in Game 1 where he got the double.
Which was originally ruled an error.
Right, and then changed to a double. But that was big. David Fry comes up with the home run. You mentioned the sac fly. After not scoring for 20 innings, they put up 5 in 9 innings last night.
Yeah.
That was huge.
It was clutch. One thing that I noticed, Bull, and I'm curious to your thoughts on
Yeah.
this. I felt that Vogt's lineup in Detroit for Game 3 was a little questionable. To me, it looked like he was going to try to win it with home runs. And the reason I say that is because obviously, Big Christmas is a guy what is he? He's all or nothing.
That's right.
That's the wrong park to do that in. Comerica is a big
That
ballpark.
is not a hitter's ballpark, and it does not carry to certain parts. I mean,
No.
it's massive.
You're going to have to build runs. Here's what I loved about yesterday. They did get a couple long balls. They almost got a third from Will Brennan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call David Fry's a wall scraper, but it wasn't a colossal shot. Now,
No.
Hosey just sat on the right pitch
Yeah.
and crushed it over 400 feet. But typically in a ballpark like that, you're going to have to build runs. Get them on, get them over, get them in. They did that in the first inning, which was pivotal to me, them jumping out on top first.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have one of their power bats in the lineup drop down a squeeze bunt tells me that he might have realized, okay, long balls are great, but you're not going to Yankee this series up. You're not going to do what the Yankees try to do.
No, but you do need to have the long ball in your arsenal.
And they had it.
And they didn't in 22, and that's why they got wiped out of the
Right.
playoffs. They do now. They were a productive I think they finished 12th in home runs.
Right.
I mean, we would have signed for that easy
Any
in
day.
the beginning of the season.
day.
And you have to have that, especially when you face great pitchers, and they are facing a great pitcher tomorrow. It is hard to build runs in the playoffs. It's even harder to build runs against Tarek Skubal. So I think you're going to need one long ball tomorrow, and Progressive Field is a better home run park than Detroit by a lot.
At least if you get down, it doesn't feel like the game is completely over when you just got guys that are going to hit singles and try to earn their way on base.
I don't want to talk about being down against
I don't either.
tomorrow.
You get down against Skubal, and
That's a problem.
Well, at least you got that option in your arsenal. If you're sitting at home watching, you at least can say to yourself, well, we can get a home run. That's in our back pocket.
We know what Skubal's going to bring to the table. We saw his numbers. By the way, I almost love the fact that he hasn't given up a run yet.
Right, he's
early
due,
in his career.
right?
He's due.
Yeah.
It's just like last night when Brisky came in and they said, oh, he's been perfect for 10 1/3. I go,
Yeah.
well, now is the time that's going to change.
Right.
Baseball, the larger the sample size, the more the regression to the mean. He's going to give up runs in Game 5. Maybe run, but he's going to get dinged in Game 5 for at least a run. To me, the question is how many outs you ask the Tigers bullpen to get. So if he goes 7, I think their chances of winning goes up. That means he's pitching very well. If you get him out after 5, I love our chances to win. The bigger question is, what is Stephen Vogt going to do for the Guardians starting pitcher for Game 5? You mentioned at the top he might go with a guy with no playoff experience.
Yeah, and that's Gavin Williams. I mean, Gavin Williams is the guy we were waiting for all year. He finally came back in late July. It's been a spotty season for him since coming back from injury. There have been times where he's looked really good. Unfortunately, there's been times where he's looked really bad. He's certainly a possibility, especially if the Guardians believe Kerry Carpenter cannot go, and then you're less worried about, because he's been their most productive hitter, and he had their biggest hit of the series. But on the other hand, Matthew Boyd is a veteran, and he missed a lot of the season like Alex Cobb, but he's pitched very well for the Guardians, and he pitched very well in Game 2. But then you say, okay, but they've seen him. They haven't seen Gavin Williams. So I think it's a tough call. In the end, you said this earlier in our YouTube show, and I agree. Whatever choice Vogt makes, I'm on board with it. I think there's not a bad choice between the two. But if it were up to me with the knowledge that I have, and obviously Stephen Vogt has more info than I do, if it were up to me right now, it's close, but I would go with Matthew Boyd.
Okay. Even back to Skubal a little bit, even if they don't get a massive amount of runs when it comes to Skubal, you said something in UCSS show. I want him to be pitching. I need him to be in the 30s, in the 40s. If you can get up there and extend these at-bats, and even if you can get 2 guys on and you don't get runs home, I would like to see guys work the count, because now I guess this is game 5, and they'll go as long as possible. But if they can't pitch them 120 pitches.
No,
like they can't pitch them 120. So let's get to them, and if we don't get the runs, extend the at bats. Josh Naylor's been swinging at early pitches. I think Quan has done a better job at that. But if they can be disciplined, Roquio's done a good job of that. They can be disciplined, make them throw pitches. You may be able to get to him in a 5th inning or a 6th inning if he's still around and available.
Yeah, get that pitch count elevated early. And not only is it to try to get him out of the game, in my view, this is just from my experience, when I start getting up into the 70s and 80s, I lose confidence in my stuff. I know I've lost a little on the fastball, maybe a little with my location because of fatigue. When you get tired, you know this from football, you fall out of your technique. You start opening up. You start doing things that are uncharacteristic. Get him into an uncomfortable situation. Yeah. I know the stage hasn't been too big for him yet, but this is not normal what he's doing. He's one of a very few and select group of pitchers that have opened their postseason career with 13 scoreless innings.
Right.
This is heady stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
At some point, it's going to start sinking into that psyche, and hopefully he'll prove that he's human.
And the Guardians have to take advantage because you're not going to have a lot of – I mean, you never know. It's baseball. But most likely, the Guardians will not have that many opportunities to score against him. So when they do, when they get runners on, they've got to get the big hit.
Yeah, I agree.
That's going to be the difference in this game. I know it's pretty obvious, but that's it.
Yeah.
Which team is going to get the big game? The Tigers have the pitching advantage to start the game. And the Guardians are going to have to match that. Whoever they start, Matthew Boyd, Gavin Williams, you're going to have the shortest leash ever because, last night at least, okay, you're facing Reese Olson. He might give up. Like, against Skubal, you can't afford to fall behind at all. One run's going to feel like a lot.
It will feel like a ton. One other thing that we should put on your radar, the game is currently scheduled to start at 8:08. Originally, I thought that was good because Skubal, with the Game 2 shadows, went from Cy Young to damn near unhittable.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to deal with the shadows. However, I need to at least throw this out there. The weather that's coming in Saturday is expected to get here mid-afternoon. And Major League Baseball does not want this game canceled Saturday and pushed into the Sunday NFL window.
Right.
That would greatly impact that rating. We're going to watch, and they're going to watch in Detroit.
Yeah.
But the rest of America is going to be preoccupied with the NFL.
Right.
So they're going to do everything and anything they can to get this game in, and that may mean moving start time up to 1 o'clock. So everybody, make your plans for Saturday.
Yeah.
But also
keep
understand
them loose.
that. Now that would be great for a lot of Ohio sports fans because 7:30, Ohio State, ranked number 2, is at Eugene, Oregon, to play the number 3 Ducks, and a lot of folks are going to have to either two-screen watch or make a decision. But maybe not if this game is moved up to 1 o'clock.
Selfishly, it'd be good for me because I'd rather do a post-game show at 4 o'clock than at 11 o'clock at night.
All right. You heard that, Park Avenue. Make the decision.
Let's go.
Let's get this thing into 1 o'clock window. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, it's the favorite part of our show. Deshaun Watson. What is he doing wrong? What is he doing right? Sean King is our quarterback whisperer. He has an incredible film breakdown on the other side of the break. All right, welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I don't want to speak for the whole show. You guys think that this has become one of our favorite parts, don't you? Sean King?
Sean King's awesome.
It's incredible how good he is on these breakdowns.
Sean King, listen, too many ex-players are afraid to be too critical.
Right.
And Sean is not.
And that's why we like him.
Yeah.
Here's Sean King with this week's Deshaun Watson breakdown.
Early in this past weekend's game against the Commanders, where the Browns did not have a lot of success at all offensively, we can start to play from here. They did have a chance early in the first quarter. It's about 6:21 in the first quarter. Nice play action pass. Pause it. Pass protection is excellent. Look at that pocket. That's exactly how you draw it up. He's got Amari Cooper coming on a little return kind of corner over route here, and does a great job of getting open if we can play it from here. When you got a clean pocket and that guy's open, you gotta make your layups, and that's one thing that's like really, really frustrating watching Deshaun. If you can pause it there, I mean that's a clean pocket. He's a little late. I don't like the extra hitch there, but when your receiver in this league has this kind of separation and you have that kind of pocket, we can play it from here. You got to make these throws, Deshaun. You got to make these throws. So here's what's interesting. Obviously, Coach Stefanski thought that he was going to get man coverage. When you run these crossing routes and the wide receiver runs out the backside of them, that's generally for man to man. You see it all the time. The DB's trying to cover the crossing route, and he gets picked by his own player. He's trying to finagle his way through traffic. Well, here's what makes this tough for Deshaun is this boundary corner. And so if they're in the left hash, the left side of the field is the boundary. This corner stays home. So a lot of people are going to look at this like he should have thrown the ball to Jerry Jeudy. My interpretation of this is if it's truly a crossing route, then Jerry Jeudy should have sat this down in the open window. If they're running some kind of over pick play, then Washington just had the right call. But either way, I thought Deshaun was under a real handicap here as far as being able to read this. If we can play it from here, and I'm going to tell you to stop it. If you stop it here, so it looks like Judy's open here, right? But this corner's sitting here. So he didn't follow the crossing route. So if Deshaun leads this ball, you see Judy's hands, like he can try and fit this in a tight window. And I'm not making excuses for Deshaun. I'm just saying this is a tough read for the quarterback because you see that color. And the last thing you want to do here is throw an interception. So I can understand Deshaun's hesitancy here. And what I'm saying, if it's truly a crossing concept, then Jeudy should be sitting this down at the goal line right here, making this an easy throw.
Sean, Brian Baldinger broke down this play and said that throws the essential NFL version of a layup. You don't buy that.
I don't buy it because I'm thinking when you look at it conceptually, if it's a true crossing route, he should be sitting that down. If that's two over routes, and if we can go back a little bit from the end zone, and you'll get a kind of better look.
You tell me when to stop it. I'll let it play from the end zone right now.
And you see, I want you to stop it right there. I mean, now, it looks like he's about to come right over. You look at 11, and then you look at 54, but from the quarterback's vantage point, what no one sees is off to the right side of the screen here is another corner. So it's easy in hindsight to look at some of these windows and be like, he should have anticipated it. But this is an extremely, extremely cloudy look for the quarterback. If you could let it play a little bit more, okay, right there, it looks like, okay, boom, he should have seen that. But that's a tough look. And Baldy's good at what he does. I'm just saying from the quarterback's prism, I would expect Jeudy to sit that down, or I could understand why Deshaun was hesitant because of the backside corner. You can't see ghosts at the quarterback position. You can't assume pressure's there. You have to be calm when it's chaotic. When everything around you is falling apart, the great ones are able to still find calmness and execute. And this sack fumble is a byproduct of Deshaun not being able to remain calm when everything's chaotic. If you can run it from here, I want to highlight something. Great play action. We get to the top of the drop, pause it, one more hit right there. Okay, this is a clean pocket, right? There ain't any pressure here. If you look at the 35-yard line, it's got a receiver coming on a crossing route that's open. If you look deeper, people talking about not having explosive plays, I think that's Jerry Jeudy right there on the 22-yard line, and that's a clean pocket. This is what I mean when I say calm amongst chaos. It's been a rough game for Deshaun. They haven't had anything go right on offense, yet you still got to be able to stand back there, go through your progressions. When it's a clean pocket, I call these layups, right? We play it from here. Both these guys are open. Both these guys are open. Come on, number 4, deliver that football. He decides to try and run and make it on his own. His ball security's bad in the pocket. All of a sudden, it results in a turnover. But if we can freeze it right there, that's a good pocket. Guys are open. Make the throw.
Sean, it'd be disingenuous if we didn't include a little breakdown of Deshaun's lone touchdown from this game. 4th down, got to have it. And Deshaun delivered.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm not showing any other game but this play. Like sometimes, man, you play so bad, you know what? You just got to go ahead and burn that. You put it with the disposable garbage. I don't care what day the garbage guy come, you go to the dump. And you put all of it in the dump and then find a reason to try and get the guys excited for next week. And what I'd harp on here was the fact that, okay, it's late in the 4th quarter. We're getting our butt beat. We still got our starters in the game, and guess what? They're executing. Why can't we do this from the first play of the game on? If you can run it here, this is a really good throw by Deshaun. It's a great play. by Atkins here, and we're going to see from the end zone, he's not really open, but you hear the terminology, throwing a receiver open. That's what Deshaun does here. If you look at this look, I mean, that's not really open, right? But a great throw can beat great coverage 100% of the time. So outside of the fact that all the fantasy owners that started David Njoku are trying to figure out where the hell he is at this time in the game, this is an excellently executed play by the Browns offense.
I'm not a fantasy owner of Njoku, but I was asking that very question. Like, why, you go to him right away on the first play of the game and then put him in
David
mothballs.
Njoku's face showed that he didn't understand what was going on either. He was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm not hurt. I'm ready to go.
Unreal. What did you guys make of the breakdown this week?
Sean does a great job with that. He's, fans are often complaining about, oh, he's biased and you hate this guy. Sean is like, he's got no connection to the Browns.
None.
He's just telling you what he sees. He showed you the good play that Deshaun at the end made, and he showed you the mistakes he made. He showed you one play that Brian Baldinger said, hey, that was an easy play. And Sean's like, it wasn't an easy play. But he also showed him some mistakes. But the thing, guys, that stood out to me the most was, and Jay, you know Sean, so you know this comes from his offensive coordinator back in the day, but talking about being calm in the chaos, and that's something that Watson's not being able to do right now.
And that might be because he hasn't had success yet.
Yeah.
And I think he's a little too afraid of throwing the interception.
Seems that way.
He's holding the ball a little longer than he should, and he's missing some open guys because he's afraid that ball might be picked instead of a reception.
Pressure, consistent pressure makes you think and sense that pressure is there all the time when it's really not. Sometimes you got to have that pocket presence. Yeah. I think that's the problem with getting quarterbacks hit so much, is that's the unintended consequences of throwing the football that much.
You know the saying, pressure builds diamonds and breaks pipes.
At the same time.
It's just how you react to it. All right, we're coming back. On the other side, who wins Sunday? Find out with our pre-written headlines.
Back?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. All right, welcome back. It's time for our headlines. We write them before the game. We're ESP. What do you got, Bull?
There you go. All right, let's start off. And no, it's not good. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Watson turns the ball over 3 times as Browns are shut out in Philly.
You got a score?
27-0.
Whoa! Oh my goodness.
This is you know how if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, there's the moment when you recovery and you go into meetings. You talk about rock bottom.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about rock bottom.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the Browns' rock bottom for this current group.
All right,
and,
so you've got company there.
Yeah.
You've got company there. All right, here's my headline. I flirted with the idea of picking the Browns.
Wow.
But then I thought, you know what? I'm 5-0 this year. I don't want to screw that up. So misery continues in Philly. Offense improves. I do believe we're going to see a different offense and a better offense, but it's not going to be enough. Denzel Ward practiced today. Still don't know if he's going to play. They're going to need him, but I still have the Eagles flying high.
I already knew what type of time we was on. I have ESP. I got the crystal ball, being the general of the Kool-Aid Mafia, and I just let's go ahead and run my article.
Wow.
I said rock bottom.
Oh, look at that.
I just put it in there. That's how I do. Like, Browns wrestling with a 1-5 start to the season. You see how I did that? Rock bottom wrestling.
I did.
That was nice. Yeah, it don't look good. And I got them losing this game 31-10.
Is that Jimmy peeking through the black hole there?
Yes, it is.
So
That is.
that's a happy free lunch week because Steve Becker's here and we've been getting some free meals.
That's awesome.
That's
Earl, did you do a headline or no?
I did.
All right,
I
what
did
do you got?
my first ever headline.
Okay.
Here we go. Browns lose heartbreaker. Cleveland shown no brotherly love in Philly.
Okay, so you've got a close one then.
The Browns are 9.5-point underdogs. I want to believe that we got some sense of a heartbeat to not get whooped. At least cover the spread. But I think it's going to be no brotherly love shown in Philly. When it rains, it pours. Man, they crocodile tears. Let's do it.
By the way, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman both did not practice today. Juan Thornhill is already out. So the Browns may be without their top 3 safeties in this game.
And why is that particularly notable?
Because Philly's 2 top receivers are coming back for this game. So you blow, and Denzel Ward's been a little banged up. It looks like he's going to play because he practiced today, but still.
The other reason I think this is a perfect storm, Sirianni's job is, his seat is so hot, he's hovering over it.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even touching it. If he loses this football game, this is how bad the Browns are.
Yeah.
If he loses to this offense at home, he is out. I think the troops will rally around him. He's still not going to save his job long term, but he'll live to see another week because I think.
And they're coming off a bye, which is an advantage. But yeah, the Browns are back to the point where we lost to the Browns. I better make a change.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are.
That's sad, but we're back to that.
Thanks for watching. Go Guards, go Browns. We'll see you Monday.
Peace.